Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Uli, and if this is your first time, then welcome, and if it's not, then welcome back. So if this is your first time, then I normally make lots of videos about health, living a sort of a natural holistic lifestyle, and with a focus on healing your skin. But at the moment, the focus is more on sort of healing your gut. So whichever one of those, if you think those are interesting, then please do hit the subscribe button. So today's video, I know again, I've been sort of very sporadic in my video making recently. And like I've said before, it's because we're in the process of buying a house as well as summer holidays and these sorts of things. So you'll have to bear with me while I have sort of other priorities that I kind of need to get out of the way. But hopefully things are going to be sorted very soon, and then I will be able to make videos more regularly. But today's video, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about where I'm at, and then also talk a little bit about something which I've had. I've kind of wanted to make a video on this for a little while, but for some reason I was a little bit hesitant to, because it can be a little bit of a controversial or a sensitive subject. First of all, I just want to tell you guys that I have been away on holiday. So I went first to my parents' house in Sweden, and then I also went to Italy, to Lake Como, for a week. So when I was in Lake Como, apologies, it's actually really hot. So while I was in Lake Como, absolutely stunning place. I was completely not vegan, I suppose. You know, I ate all the cheese, I ate all the meat, I ate all the gluten, very, very unhealthy. And, you know, I really enjoyed myself, so I have no regrets. And funnily enough, it actually made my skin was great, and my digestion in particular was really, really good. I wasn't bloated at all, in the same way that I am when I eat a sort of a mostly plant-based diet. Didn't have any pain, anything like that. I basically just completely forgot about all the gut issues that I had. And no, this isn't gonna be and this is why I'm no longer vegan video, because even though when I was away on holiday and I was thinking, gosh, like, I just feel so much better. I think my skin was good mostly just because I was in the sun. You know, I could still notice that it was still getting that kind of like eczema tingly feeling, but the sun was kind of keeping it at bay. So I'm mostly focusing now talking about the gut issues. And I know a lot of people comment on my videos saying, why don't you try the carnivore diet? I'm gonna tell you the reason why, even though my digestion is better eating animal products and less fiber and these kinds of things, is because at the same time that I was there, I was reading a book, a really, really good book by Yuval Harari. And I know I'm a bit late to the party. It had come out in like 2014, 2015. And that is all about sort of the human species and civilization and, you know, our modern world and that kind of thing, and how we've come from sort of prehistoric Homo sapiens into being the sort of the modern man. And within that, they talk a lot about, you know, how we survived and how we were successful compared to other species being animals, obviously. It makes you really, really realize how, you know, humans can be incredibly cruel and destructive, and we've got rid of so many animals already. There's one chapter where they said that we moved into Australia, I think, and we managed to make 85% of all the animals and all the megafauna, as it was called, completely extinct within sort of 200 years. So not only were we sort of pretty savage as sort of prehistoric people, and then nowadays in sort of modern times, obviously they talk a lot about sort of commercial animal agriculture. I'm not going to go into all the details here, but, you know, animals are kept in horrendous conditions. You know, they are literally bred to be consumed, bred for consumption, and because of that, you know, they are treated as sort of money-making, profit-making machines, and they're pumped with all sorts of hormones, kept in terrible conditions that are completely unnatural to everything that would, you know, make them happy and thrive as animals. And it's purely just because we want to eat them, and there's no other reason for it. And lots of people argue, yes, but we've always kept animals and we've always had farmyard animals, and that's just how it is. And I think there is a huge difference between the way that we have animal agriculture now, which is, you know, we have no idea. Most people have no idea what it's like in a slaughterhouse. Nobody, myself included. I don't want to go into a slaughterhouse because I think that would be very traumatizing. Whereas back in the day, when we had our own farmyard animals, there were much, much fewer humans on Earth, and we ate a lot less animal products, you know, we had a much closer connection to the animals that we did breed. It was often that we had our own animals. Like, farmers were very, very close, and they looked after their animals in a completely different way to what they do now. That's just the sort of the animal cruelty element. And then of course we've got the huge environmental element, which is also a terrible thing. And there are so many people on Earth. If we ate meat at every single, or even just animal products every single meal of the day, 7 days a week. Like, that is terrible for the environment. It's so, so bad. And another thing that came to mind was, you know, just the other day, I was just having lunch with a group of people, and somebody said, oh, did you know, like, there was a study recently that said that goldfish can feel empathy and they can have emotions towards each other, and they recognize each other, and they have this kind of, yes, a lot more basic sense of emotion and empathy than we do, but it's still there. And I was just thinking, I was like, why is that surprising? I don't understand, like, why it's surprising when people hear about the fact that, yes, animals have emotions, and yes, animals have feelings and empathy. Anyway, I don't really want this to become some kind of like militant vegan rant, because, you know, firstly, I live with non-vegans. Most of my friends are meat eaters or whatever. And if I'm honest, I can't call myself a vegan. I call myself plant-based because, well, exactly for the reason that, you know, when I go on holiday and I can't really control the food that I buy and consume, then I do eat animal products. And some people might say that that's really hypocritical of me sitting here saying all these reasons why it's bad to eat meat, and then on the occasions I do still eat meat. But even if we all reduce the amount of meat and animal products that we had, that would really, really help not only the animals but the environment and everything. You know, we would be able to pay a premium to perhaps have animals kept in sort of better conditions, or there'd be fewer of them, we wouldn't need so many of them, all these kind of things. So I think having a reductionist plant-based diet, when I say reductionist, you know, I'd say 90 to 95% vegan. But again, I can't call myself vegan because obviously that is sort of a bit more, it's not just about the food, it's about all sorts of other things as well. So yes, plant-based. But anyway, to go back to what I originally wanted to talk about was, you know, my gut issues. So when I was there on holiday, and I was like, I would rather just really, really try absolutely everything I can to make a plant-based diet work, a plant-based vegan diet work, because I do think it's better for your health. I absolutely think it's better for the environment. And thirdly, like, knowing what I know and having seen the things that I've seen, I don't want to be complicit in any more sort of suffering to these poor animals. There's just no need for it. Having said all of these things, I have kind of tweaked my diet a little bit, because I think that part of the problem with the plant-based diet is that there is too much fiber in it, and for some reason I can't deal with that much fiber. I think that's part of the problem of why I kind of bloat. I know a lot of vegans, they go on and on about this kind of like high carb, low fat vegan diet, and supposedly what's supposed to happen, you just eat loads and loads of carbs and loads of fruit sugar and loads of potatoes and all this stuff, and then eventually you reach this kind of like high carb nirvana where you can eat and eat and eat endless amounts of calories and you'll never gain a pound and all these kind of things. Anyway, that has definitely not happened to me. And I am now doing it a sort of slightly my own kind of version of it, where I kind of am sort of upping the fats more, reducing things like grains. I'm not going no carb because I have a tendency to, if I cut them out completely, that kind of takes me back to when I was a very restrictive dieter, and then I end up binging on them, so not a good idea. And also secondly, I just really like them. So I definitely am not a no carb, but it's more sort of perhaps focus on the proteins and the fats in the mornings and lunchtime, and then sort of have a more carb heavy meal in the evening. And so far it's actually been working really well. So I think that maybe I'm onto something. I don't know, we'll give it a go. I mean, it's only been sort of 2-3 days now, so we'll see. And then on top of that, I have actually finally invested in a probiotic. So it's a probiotic called Symprove, which is, I think I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, which is supposed to be really good for all the sort of the different gut bacteria, especially to do with digestion. So I bought that, had the first shot of it today, and it was repulsive, yeah, so disgusting. It literally tastes like sauerkraut juice mixed with like oat milk, kind of. I don't know, it's disgusting. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I've got a 3-month supply of that. We'll see how that goes. But that was kind of all I wanted to say. Those are just kind of thoughts that I've had, and like I've said, these are things that sometimes I'm reluctant to talk about because everyone has such strong opinions about these things, but this is just how I feel. You can agree, you can disagree. Basically just thought that I would fill you guys in, and I hope you're all keeping super well, and I thank you all for still sticking around, and I'll check back in with you guys very soon again. Bye!